So this week, the market officially logged its first of the year, 5% pullback off of all-time highs. We have since, guys, rallied 3.25% off of the lows. We're going to give you in this video a bunch, maybe even 4 or 5 high risk reward plays that you can look at heading into the next few weeks. Here's what we're going to talk about. Some risk. We have to define what our risk is and where our risk is, and understand also volatility and whether or not volatility is actually back at this point or not. And also, obviously, buy the dip. We're going to tell you why coming up here. Neil's going to kick things off here. Let's talk about some high risk reward plays, guys. Why do we like high risk reward?
Because people want returns, right? We're in this game to make money, and sometimes that's going to involve placing a capital to work in something that's very risky. And what goes up must come down, and a lot of times, things that go parabolic before can go parabolic again. And I'm saying that in particular because I want to highlight FUBO TV. Right, so you have a lot of things going on here with FUBO. It was a fantastic runner, and if you look back towards the end of the year, and I'm kind of cutting it off so that you can see when this went from 14 and then just an absolute crazy run into the end of the year at 60. It made another push into 55 to start the year, and then it is just falling like a rock. He gave almost everything back to that 14 level, which is kind of why I conveniently have pulled the chart back to November of 2020. And since then, you put in this really nice higher low. So you had a previous resistance at 24, and then it's just been holding at 24, sort of bouncing back and forth. Now, a few things have happened since then. They are launching, I think, by I think it's the end of the quarter 2021 here. They got their sports betting book integration with their live streaming, should be coming online. Of course, sports betting is all in the vogue right now. You have lots of consolidation within that particular space. So the upside is there for FUBO TV. It's a great concept. You've seen some other sort of similar names make some strong moves, whether you talk about like your Roku's, your streaming names have been pretty strong. So, I like where FUBO is poised. And why is it risky? 2 reasons. If 24 were to break, you're sitting there with the tightest stop of all time. If 24 were to break, you're going gobble, gobble, gobble all the way down to 14 even, because that's where your support is. And that's a pretty hefty hit that you'd have to take. In the event, if there's a market decline and you're not in, you have a chance to grab it when this stock does tank. But if you're buying it here on this nice consolidation, you get a small move down, like 2 or 3%, and you could be giving it up if you give it to that stop. But if you want the upside of this thing to get to $50-$60 by the end of next year or halfway through next year, you're probably going to have to hold through any pain in that 24. But I think that 24 breaks your gobble, 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 because they got a good business going here with FUBO TV.
I'm going to have a little bit of fun here. I'm going to hit my favorite animation because I think it's appropriate for this stock. This name is used to collecting a lot of money from the public. They need bodies. They need people in their place of business, and it's going to be LVS. So we're going to watch out for Las Vegas Sands right here. And you know what? The pandemic has hit casinos obviously extremely hard, and it's just one of those things where if you don't have people in your building, people nervous about it, then no vaccine, you're going to have this downward move. And they didn't digitize soon enough. They didn't get involved with the online gaming soon enough. So you see this big drop down here from highs, $74. This is pre-pandemic, and then this is March of 2020. So you come all the way back down, and this is the interesting thing to me. For LVS now, it battles pretty much all the way back. I mean, not all the way back, but pretty much all the way back up to 66, 67. And then all of a sudden, variants start coming through again. And, the world is not fine. And you get this epic meltdown. Then all of a sudden, variants get under control. You start to hear that people are going back to Vegas. You get a lot of travel back in, early to late August, back upside. You see the parties happening in Vegas. And then all of a sudden, the Chinese government, so let's zoom in a little bit more here, comes out right here and says, guess what? We're not going to be too interested in Macau anymore. And LVS in 2019, we're not going to use 2020 numbers because of what we just talked about with the pandemic. But 2019, they had over $14 billion in revenues, okay? Macau alone was $9 billion of those revenues, right? Just in this drop down here in market cap alone, they lost about $6-7 billion, depending on what calculation we're going to take in market cap. That's like losing pretty much everything in Macau. So the Chinese government has only come out right now and basically just said, hey, look, we may put restrictions. We're going to look at what's going to happen with Macau. Does that mean that they take a little bit more profit from these governments? Or from these companies? I'm not sure what the casino operators are going to do, but I just think in this market sell-off, a lot of this is not just the market, but we also have Chinese government risk here. And I think that, you know, when this world turns around, they'll probably open Macau back up. It's so popular amongst the people. It's a great revenue source for the government as well. So I believe very high risk and very high reward with LVS.
I want to discuss volatility here a little bit, guys. We mentioned right at the beginning, is volatility actually back? We started this week with a massive down day on the overall market. I'm going to show you the VIX here, this is a daily chart of the VIX. So this was Monday. We had a huge spike up through 28. First time it had been there since May for the VIX. But look at what has happened since then. 4 days in a row, or 3 days in a row, straight back to the downside, basically back to where we've been since that last spike up to 28. On the VIX. I'm going to talk about as well the airlines, guys, because look at Southwest. As we speak, not only breaking back above the 50-period moving average, but also breaking back above some key areas of resistance. This is also a key level of support. If you go back to the last consolidation it made in this area, very defined out if you are into trading those types of breakout style ideas. I also want to mention quickly, look at NVIDIA. This was Monday. Again, we came right back into key level of resistance that turns into support. We're right back to this prior consolidation. You get a break of the highs. NVIDIA could be right back to off to the races, guys. So I think we did, what, 4 there? 3, 4? I promised 4 or 5. So we got to 4 there, guys. There's a look at some high risk reward plays. Here's Miss B.
Hey guys, thank you for this great information. Dear viewers, please subscribe to this channel to see more useful videos.